Now, the human in me, the person that's going to be fallible, because I'm not infallible, I will invariably do something and make a decision that was poorly executed on. I own those. I own those errors. They're mine. It's not that the algorithm did something false or it's been changed or something to that effect. It just means that I made the error. I did. So it removes all the argument, and it's because I'm human and you're human too. You're going to miss a move. You're going to mess up. You're going to get stopped out. You're going to not buy enough, not sell enough. They're always going to be in there as part of the end result of your development and your career as a trader. You're going to have high points where you're like, I was really doing well at this time. And you're going to have these low points where you just feel like you can't find any traction. That's a normal thing. That is a normal thing. I was listening to Tom Hugard, and he mentioned that he had obviously shown publicly to his followers that when he's not trading on his high note, he admits that it can look dismal, and that may sound like, wait a minute, this guy's supposed to be the high stakes trader. He's the guy that's making a lot of money. He very well may be doing that, but it doesn't mean that he and anyone else, and myself included, aren't exempt from having periods of drawdown where you're just in a funk, like you feel like you're just not there. And the market may be doing amazing delivery and price. It may be presenting opportunities left and right, but you just can't align yourself with it. But there's going to be periods where you just can't find your footing. You can't find your groove. And the best thing you can do as a developing student is, as soon as you figure that out is the case right then and there, remove risk. Even if you're in a trade, just remove it. Close it. But Michael, what happens if I would have held on to the trade? Who cares? Because again, we're going back to that same problem. You're assuming your entire career is encapsulated in that one trade. That's not disciplined. That's not disciplined approach to yourself, reasonable expectations, and you're focusing on money, the right transaction where you're correct, versus are you doing the right things to preserve equity and emotional psychological equity, where you're not stressing yourself out unnecessarily. And you can do that being in a trade while fatigued, or you just feel off, like you don't have the confidence. And that's not the same thing as new developing traders forging patience, because that's normal. You're going to feel that. But if you found your model and you're pretty much consistent on finding setups, you'll have a little bit of drawdown. You don't freak out. You come back from it. You're not in a rush to get it back, and you still find consistency. I'm talking to that crowd right now when I'm saying this. If you ever get to that point where you get into the market and you have a position on and you just don't feel connected, you will not be able to respond as you should when the warning signs are flashing. You'll be like a deer in headlights, and it'll just roll right over top of you. And after you're out, you'll have complete 2020 perspective, and you'll think, oh, I wish I would have, but it's too late then. Versus you get out, it does move in your favor. It's okay because you removed yourself from that potential because you don't know the outcome. That's the problem when you have something move after the fact. When something happens after it's done, the hyenas will come and laugh and cackle, and they'll think they have something. And when the lion stands up and rips their ass apart publicly and sends them packing, they're not around laughing anymore. So you have to control how much the hyenas can have access to. And in the market, they'll take your ass off completely if you're not in control of yourself, if you don't manage the risk. And the only way you can do that is be disciplined. There's nothing wrong. There's no weakness. It doesn't mean you're not a good trader. If you feel and you acknowledge that you're not dialed in, that means you're not focused. You can't focus. You have things tugging at you. Your attention's elsewhere. You don't feel well. You're just fatigued. You're tired. you just don't feel like you're hitting on all the cylinders that you would normally expect yourself to be doing when you're trading. They're all invitations, as far as I'm concerned, for you to say, you know what, I'm just going to disconnect. I'm going to come back either today or in a few days. I'll take a week off, recuperate, rest.